Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super Fantify. This being a show where I talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm gonna talk about Demon Lord 2099, Season 1, Episode 5. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Well, first and foremost, just while Machina's preparing to make she's trying to make curry out of like whatever ingredients, but it was going to be the exact same thing again. And then her familiar little avatar is like, oh, doesn't matter what you do as long as you add in love. And she's like, love. I guess I don't know if she's ever really thought about, she knows she cares about that's all, but I don't know if she's ever been able to really quantify it with necessarily something like love. Like it runs probably deeper than even love because of her admiration and loyalty to him. But lo and behold, who shows up? It's Marcus. And it turns into a whole fight. What I wasn't expecting is the person with red hair. It never even crossed my mind that person we kept seeing in the intro. I thought that was a separate person. Did not realize that's Machina. I don't know if that's like technically Machina's true form, and that like the form she's in all the time is like kind of like if you use like the Zanbakuto situation in Bleach. It's kind of like her base form is like her sealed form, and then like that's her true form. I guess it would kind of be how that works. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe her base form is her true form, and that's just like how it looks when her powers fully manifest. I'm assuming it's more the former than the latter, but we won't know. But yeah, she goes up against Marcus, and I was like, oh, is he really going to be like outdone by her? I was like, there's no way it's going to be, because he's kind of like the big bad, so I was like, there's no way she's going to be able to do it on her own. But of course he has backup, but that didn't seem to be an issue for Machina until he's able to shut down her familia. It's like she took it offline, but he has a very special familia, because of course he's going to orchestrate and create a familia that only he has the power to shut down every other one and hack them. Even though hers is standalone, even if she got it off the network, it doesn't matter. He can still hack into it easily, because it's all about supremacy. He's trying to make it so that no one with a familia can beat me and no one without, because that was the whole point of making the familias too, to make it so that Vetal could never get one, so he'd always be a step below anyone else. But given enough, once again, he's also in a heavily weakened state. If he can get more of his power back, maybe he could still bridge that gap between him and a familia. Who knows? But yeah, it feels so like, oh, you cheap bastard. Who knows? He could have shut her down at any point in time, and maybe in a one-on-one fight, it still would have been tough. But I don't know. I don't know if that fight still would have gone Machina's way, even if he hadn't done that. But the fact is, he gets joy out of toying with her and seeing her like so defeated. It's like, ooh, like it's such a beautiful look on your face. It's just like, oh, you smug bastard. But, this also begs the question that I brought up in like the previous episode. Upon us learning the truth about immortals and the furnace, the Aether Furnace here in Shinjuku, why wait till now to come after Machina? That never made sense. You've known where she is for a while. You could have gotten her at any point in time. I think I talked about it last episode, but it's like maybe you're specifically doing it now because this is the first time you've needed an immortal post Vetal coming back. And now it's like, now that he's back, just to rub it even further in his face. It's like, right, you're not going to kill him. You're going to let him live, being weak, and anyone in this world could beat him because he's not what he once was. It's all about supremacy and feeling better. It's like, oh, I've outclassed you, because he's lived in Vetal's shadow for so many years, and now he wants to prove, like, right, you could, with technology and information, it's easy to become like the top dog, but that's too easy. He's like, no, I want to make my supremacy so unanimous, undeniable. Now that's going to be more fun, to prove myself to be the true Demon Lord. Like, that's why I think he waited till now with the Machina of it all, just to cut Vetal deeper. It's like, oh, I'm not going to use you as a furnace. I'm going to use people you care about, specifically Machina, just to twist the knife deeper. So obviously Vetal comes back. The entire apartment is destroyed, and he's kind of thinking back on his time with Machina, where I think it's like a thing of, yes, he always shows his gratefulness to her, but like I think maybe he's starting to figure out maybe that she is more than just a loyal subject. But it's like, yeah, he's still not in a strong enough state to like go rescue her, because it's like, even if you go there, there's probably going to be more of those Majinos waiting for you. So, and Takahashi wants to help too, but she's not really capable in like a combat sense. She can help backup wise, But it's like the moment she was like, yeah, you'd have to. I don't know anyone that's as strong as you are. And the moment she said that, I was like, well, there is one person he met recently, and I was like, Graham. And it's like, yes, hero and demon lord unite. So Vetol, not putting his pride aside, kneels before Graham and begs him for his help after finding out, like, okay, so this is all this that's going on and stuff. And you could tell he was initially irritated, where it's like, here's the great demon lord coming to ask me for help. It's like, you are who you are. You're a murderer. You're a bad guy. The people you work for killed people. You've killed people. He's like, you've killed my friends, family, like innocent people. And now what are you going to do? You're going to go in there. You need asking for my help to save one immortal. It's like, okay, it sucks that this city is doing what it's doing, but are you willing to destroy the furnace and everything, to upheave this entire system and strip away this entire city's happiness? All, like, are you willing to sacrifice all that? So many lives, how are they all worth it? You're willing to kill everyone, basically, if it means rescuing this one person. And I thought Vetol was going to say the thing of, if it's that, I'll play the role of the bad guy. I'll kill everyone to protect that one person if they're important to me. But Vetol goes above and beyond whole thing. Kind of a little hero-ish, a little villainous with the whole thing of, screw that, I'll take it all. Like, basically, I will fix this city situation while also rescuing Machina. He's like, right, I am the demon lord, and the demon lord doesn't just, like, take what he can get. He's like, he will take everything. I will win. I will reign supreme again. And that's how this is all going to play out. The fact is that, yes, I am a weakling right now, and I'm going to have to turn to you for help. But I'm putting that aside because I know you are the only one I can rely on in this situation. Which it does spark something in Graham where it's like, really? So that's your approach to this. We have our differences. I don't trust you. I'm only doing this to rescue someone. Because he even says, like, right, it is a hero's duty to help assist the weak, and you are the weak in this regard. Because he's like, right, you are still going to call me a hero. But he's like, yeah, I guess even I want to continue playing the role of a hero even now. So the two of them work together and create a partnership. Once again, neither one ever thought the day would come, the demon lord and the hero uniting to be for a just cause in a lot of ways. It is Vetol's selfishness because it's about getting back someone he cares about, and it's also going to ultimately lead to him, getting what he wants, where it's like, yeah, I'll fix this city situation. I will find another solution that doesn't involve the murder of other immortals. We know at least one of the early people for this was one of his dark peers, so. But either way, they find a way into the furnace, and it involves going through a dungeon, but Graham kind of has a slight cheat. Basically, he created a magic spell while he was adventuring, and it's auto mapping. So, like, yeah, he sends out mana, and it touches the walls and everything, and it slowly but surely maps out the entire place, which we know that Vetol is a dungeon creator, so he's like super pissed as like, he's like, yo, like, do you not, he's like, right, where's your sense of adventure? You're supposed to like go out. That's kind of cheating. But then he's telling, Graham's like, yeah, but then, like, what about, you don't think about because Vetol's like, you don't think about the person who took the time to create that dungeon, put those treasure chests in there and stuff like that. I think especially when you think about the, oh God, I always forget the term for it. Auto-generating dungeons, which I'm wondering, do those exist in this continuity? Probably do. Like something like older Personas, because I know the, well, I guess I was about to say Persona 5 doesn't really have, but it does in the form of mementos. But yeah, like most dungeons in like 3 and 4 are auto-generated dungeons. So, but yeah, so I don't know if that takes more time and effort having that automated than like actually making a just straight out linear dungeon of like, this is the map and it never changes. I don't know which one it takes more effort or whatever, but either way, I appreciate it. It's like, hey, he's a man that talks about, he's talking about other people, but he's mainly coming from the perspective of, yo, I'm a dungeon creator. But then you have Graham being like, yeah, but what about the people, the adventurers who have to like be careful of their allies and watch their supplies and stuff like that while they have to worry about all that. It's like, yeah, the whole point is just to get through the dungeon as quickly as possible. So they're bouncing back and forth about it. Takashi's like, okay, you guys are friends. And she's like, okay, she's like, I get it, you guys are besties. He's like, no, you misunderstand. Not friends with this guy, never could be. And she had to remind them, yo, shut up, you idiot. We're here to rescue Machina. It's like, right, sorry about that. So we don't know fully what it is they've got planned, but apparently Vettel set something up with Takashi ahead of time that I guess is probably going to play into him saying finding a remedy around the whole Aether Furnace situation. Maybe there's something there, or maybe it's going to be a situation of maybe utilizing that to kind of give him a temporary boost in power to compensate for the fact of like, you know, not having the power to compete against the Familia. I don't know. Either way, by the time they get there through the dungeon, he's kind of like, right, let's put all that aside and make our way down. There was this interesting conversation where Graham's like, wow, you've changed a lot. Because he's like, the old Vettel I knew, even though we've only met a few times throughout like the time of knowing each other, like not just present day, but even in the past, the fact is that like I don't know everything, but who you were in the past, you would have never gone this far just for even one of your vassals, but to do it now is like showcases how you're different. Saying like, right, who you were in the past, you were merciless, you were relentless, you were evil, and you were selfish, but the you now, who you are now, if the me of the past and this version of you fought, I don't think the fight would have gone the way. I mean, it barely went his way. I mean, once again, there was that whole conversation about like, right, I'm fighting, got my friends and my power, you know, the shonen thing of the power of friendship. So Graham had that on his side, but now it's like Vettel's kind of got that to some smaller degree. So that ends up being where things kind of shake out and play out in this regard. I think Graham's words probably do resonate with him a little bit because Vettel probably does recognize he's not the same person. But also maybe it's a thing of Graham kind of underestimates who Vettel was back then. Like maybe he wasn't as bad as Graham thinks him out to be. There's a lot of his history we do not know. We got peeks into Graham's history of understanding where he came from and what motivated him to become the hero that he did. But beyond that, like, you know, we don't know Vettel's beginning. Once again, is he one of those immortals that was once mortal and became immortal, or was his circumstances a little different, like the few that he was mentioning, where it's like he never went into specifics of, yeah, they were just maybe they were always immortals, just came into being, into existence. Maybe there's something to it, just considering that look. He had this very stoic look when Graham made that remark, so it did feel like maybe there's something to that. Maybe not. But yeah, like ultimately, the person they run into is Marcus's assistant. They're about to clash with her. Obviously, Vettel was outclassed by her the first time. Granted, he's gotten a little bit stronger since then. Plus, he's also not alone. So we'll see whether they both work together to take her down, or whether they split, where it's like Vettel goes off to rescue rescue Machina, or will he give that to Graham because he's like, Graham might have a better chance against Marcus with everything going on, rather than why don't you'd assume Graham has a Familia as well, but maybe not. You kind of can't really go about not having a Familia. You kind of need one. So I don't know if they really covered whether Graham has one or not, because that would probably be a deciding factor, considering like, right, he can shut down Familias, so that might also make them quite unique in that regard. Kind of second Bleach reference of the day, because it's the thing I always go back to, because I always think it's kind of like a cool thing like that of, once again, why was Ichigo the only one that could fight and beat Aizen? Because he's the only one that never saw his Bankai. So, you know, it's a kind of a similar thing of they're the two people without Familias. It puts them at a disadvantage, but it also puts them in advantage in another category. So it semi-evens out to some small degree, but yeah, we'll ultimately have to wait to see where this all takes us. I'm excited to see where the next episode takes us. I almost want to stockpile the episodes just so I can just like power through them, but I'm also like, nah, I can't just sit on that. So because I'm always eager to see where the story ends up going. So, but obviously, like the post credits thing is Marcus with Machina, I think, you know, preparing to put her through the, you know, as preparing her as firewood, because we haven't seen what that process looks like, and I think we're about to get a peek into it. So, but yeah, can't wait to see where the next episode takes us. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.